welcome back my gardening friends. Well, I spotted somebody loading some soil into a skip, so I thought I'd help myself to a few bags, with permission of course, and the chap was glad of the help. And it's full of rubbish and probably seed weeds. But I thought it'd be best to put a bit of this on top of the green manure. These are the new seeds. I've marked them all up, we've seen in a previous video, and I thought, well, if I put a little bit of a layer on, helps to cover the green manure beans up. Some of them are just starting to grow, and the birds are fetching them out. Hopefully it's not the mice. And the weeds can grow that are in this, but I do like to add soil if I can to give it a little bit of body, because compost on its own soon dries out. And the 3-2 gloves are still doing well, especially in those sifters. But this will just give those beans a little bit of protection. The birds love scratching around, as we all know. And I'll be able to tell now whether there's been any activity. I need a little bit more from there, but I can do that from another bed. But you've got the idea there. I've got several bags of that. We'll carry on with that, but I want to put to bed my permanent bean bed. I've got some manure, so let's go and tackle that. Take my gloves off. Now these beans have been took out in the last 3 hours, so they just need a little bit more depth to stop the birds from fetching them out. Some of these aren't green manure, I reckon they're ordinary broad beans, but they'll all act as green manure. Some of them are coming up nicely. Covered these over with some of my homemade compost, and it's quite coarse, so covering it with that soil will do a good job. Thought I'd show you that just as I was passing to go to the permanent bean bed, and in the middle there I've got some comfrey growing. So that's either, well, it must have come from another plot via bird poo or whatever, because I haven't got no comfrey on plot 3. So let's strip all this down, get that comfrey out, make sure I get all the root out. I'll show you that once we get there, and we'll crack on. Well, I'm not too sure whether that's comfrey or not, but I've managed to get it all out, and that has grew in the last few weeks. We'll add it to the compost pile later. I've just given it a little tickle all over. We're supposed to be no dig, but when we get roots like that we need to get them out properly. I'll give it a bit of a tickle. Let's add the manure as far as it'll go. Wow, that's fresh. I might be in the spare bedroom tonight. Whew. I've just been and fetched some composting worms out of the bed compost bin. Scatter 4 piles, and because there's plentiful supply of food, they'll work together and devour all this lot by the spring. Keeping the worms covered that are coming from underneath, and the ones that I've added, I'll give them protection, and they'll drag all that fresh manure, turn it into a good quality compost for the beans to feed on next year. Lovely job. I've even cut the corners out, and as you've noticed, I've covered the gap up as well. Limit the light, we want the worms working away underneath, and I will check it to make sure it's moist enough. But as we get the winter weather, the rain will soak through all down to the sides. It's very dry, but we don't want it too wet under there, so we'll see how they get on. I do like these bits of wood. You can grab them quite easily instead of grabbing it like that. Recycle, repurpose. I'm going to do a quick reveal on the a sweetcorn. I don't know what it looks like. We've got some biggish ones. This one's mediocre, but the tassels on the top came really early, and I couldn't even see any pollen. But we've been breaking them off and giving them a bit of a tickle. They look like they've gone brown, or have they gone dead? So before the mice and rats get them, well, it's the rats that eat them. Let's have a quick look. To see whether we've got anything, and it doesn't look too bad actually. So all my worries, I'm going to touch the corn, but that looks pretty good. So maybe this variety doesn't show the pollen as well as anything else, and you always get a few at the end that aren't quite ready. They're not quite ready, but if the rats see them, they're going to have them. So at least now I know I can start harvesting them and eating them as and when we want them. And then if the rats find them, we've had more than them, hopefully. And the variety, it's incredible F1. Here, Mr. Rat, this is what happens. Excuse me. Very nice. I best pick another one for Mrs. K, else I'll be in trouble. And that is a thank you to Babette, who's in the garden. Very tasty, Babette. That's what they look like when the rats have had them. Am I a rat? Probably. I hope everybody's having a good holiday. By the time you watch this video, everybody should be on their holiday break and hopefully relaxing. We're on now playing catch up, and that's quite a few of the beds put to bed in my way. Oh, I certainly found this useful that I found in a skip. So we'll leave this open. Field beans will grow. So these are the green manure field beans that I had my save seed. Again, green manure save seed. I haven't changed the date on that one. Save seed. Again, the date needs changing. There's the bed that we did first, with some of them that had already sprouted. That one was a self seed. This is where we saved the field beans last year, so it's had a top up of my spent potato compost, which is my homegrown compost, or homemade compost, shall we say. These are the field beans, the new seed. I only used half the seed last year when we did some field beans, and we'll see how they differ. And there's some more new seed, and as you've seen from the label, this is the bed that I'm going to save for seed for the following year. So hopefully I'll be able to save my own field beans and replant each year. Please consider thumbs up, thumbs down, consider subscribing, and definitely leave me a comment, and everyone else a comment, on how you protect your beds over the winter months. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now.